Big pickup. Baruch Hashem, Torah Chaf Gimel, Tinyana, speaking about simcha. Simcha mamish. Let's go into the Torah a little bit, and then I want to go more be'in into the Torah, and then I want to eventually get to see Chaf Dalid, and then I want to go back into both the Torahs, more be'in. And there's a big discussion whether these are two Torahs or one Torah. Rav Nosson seems to put them together as one Torah. He kind of moves from one Torah to the next. Even though in Minei Ubei you would want to keep it all in one Torah. But if it's really one Torah, then you can go Minei Ubei in both of them. So says the Rebbe, a few insights. And also I want to hear your chidushim. What's coming up? What's your harvest? Be'inyan simcha. Alpi mashal, there has to be a mashal. Simcha must be not so simple. Shelefa'amim, k'shebnei adam smeichem u'rakdim. People are happy and they're dancing. As a chaytfin ish echad mibachutz. So they grab a guy and they bring him in from the side, who's being all mopey on the side. Shehu ba'atz v'sumar shchar. They bring the guy into the dancing circle. Come on in. So a question to think about, and I think it's going to be a theme going through, is why do the guys in the circle feel such a need to bring the guy in? Let the guy be depressed on the side, and you dance. What's really pulling us to pull the guy in from the side? We're dancing. There's a guy on the side. Echo minat tzad, which we're going to see minat tzad is a big thing by depression. It's echo minat tzad. He's standing minat tzad. Everything is minat tzad. He's on the side. Depressed people are on the side. They're out of the circle. Why do I have this feeling? It's almost like a mitzias. As a chaytfin ish echad mibachutz. He's also chutz. He's tzad and chutz. And I'm in the circle. Thank you. These kind of mitzvahs we're holding in a shahakl. This is a fancy setup over here. The Avital Endowment Fund is paying big dividends over here. Chaim. Oh man. And the Adam Schwartz Endowment Fund, thank you. Nifla. And a big thank you to Aaron Avital for ordering the whole new machine. So we're pumping over here. It's pumping. Why do we need to bring the guy in from the side? Yeah, Adam, what do you think?
I think it's an incomplete circle. They need everyone to be complete.
The circle's not complete.
I had a chiddush yesterday.
Oh, a chiddush ba'alacha.
That in the temple they had all these incenses. And when they put them together, there's one smell that smelled really bad.
Oh, the chelbana.
And when they needed to bring that one in to make it complete.
Without the depressed guy, that's what they say by tzibur. They say tzibur is the language. Tzadi, beis, reish. Tzibur, a community. So tzibur is a tzadi, is a tzadik. The beis is a beinani, and the reish is a rasha. You don't have a tzibur without, Moshe the Ganav or something. You got the guy that's the depressed, struggling guy. You want a tzibur? Otherwise, you just have a tzab. You want a tzibur, you got to bring the rasha in. Do some kiruv. He's part of it, the chelbana. Bring in the chelbana. So you're saying they're coming out tzibur, out completion. They're coming because we're not complete. Sounds selfish. What about him? Do I care about him? This is the rank. I was thinking about multiple. Do they care about themselves? Meaning, we're not complete. Like, join us. Join us. Or they care about the guy, minat tzad, who's standing on the side, who's all depressed, and like, lav dafka, we need this. We're actually good. But I think you might need this. I think you in your depressed state, we could probably help you out a lot.
I think that the first case is more about them, the second case is more about him.
First case meaning in the mashal, or the nimshal.
Yeah.
The minatzad and then roidif acharov.
The first case is all about come into our circle because we like it's like a weird missing something. And like we said yesterday, by seeing you on the side, it's making us not as happy. You kind of glue that corner of the room a little bit.
It was like a showdown. Like while everyone's dancing in the circle, so like they see the guy on the side who's not dancing, and they give him these eyes, like the eyes of the dancers. What are those eyes? And what's the eyes of the press guy on the side? Like,
Don't look at me. Don't look.
it's like I'm learning like like a Mishnah verse. Like, I'm not really interested in what's going on right now. I love Mishnah verse. We love Mishnah verse. Saying that's like it's the Inyan. We are so happy about. And once we get into the nimshal that this is happening in me, we're going to have to go into what's the circle in me, and what's the depressed in me, and what's the showdown, what's the locking up, like the MMA fights? You know what I'm saying? Like what is the back and forth of that? It's like 50 hands. Yes. Yossel, Itchy, Jeremy, go.
So your question of whether they're thinking about themselves or the collective whole, I remember you teaching that Klal Yisrael.
Is that even, I could see it's three options. It's themselves, collective whole, or just that guy.
Okay.
I care about this guy.
I remember you teaching that Klal Yisrael is like the Sod Guf Echad. Like Chazal teaches that like if a Yid were to ever, like if you were to chop off one of your fingers, it wouldn't be a smart idea to then take revenge on your other hand and chop off the finger that cut.
I don't think it'd be so smart, right?
No, it wouldn't be a good idea. So we get from this that Klal Yisrael is the Sod Guf Echad. We're one. We
and therefore it's just natural. It's natural that I should be. But what about the other guy? He doesn't know Sod Guf Echad? Maybe you could say Minat Sad means he feels like he's disattached from the body. He's Minat Sad. He's always on the side. When you're happy, you're giving me a chiddush right now. When you're happy, you feel B'Sod Guf Echad. You feel so, I think we feel this. When you feel happy, you feel so connected to things. Like, top of the morning to you, Tom. How you doing, buddy? Like, when you're, but not that. When you're ba'atzvus, you're like Minat Sad. It's good morning, like, You're the opposite. You're Minat Sad. You're on the side. You're like spliced off of
he's the finger that was cut
the
off.
finger that was cut off. Yeah, Ellie.
Moshe is Nefesh at a certain point. You're not grabbing him and forcing him to wrap the tefillin, but you're saying, come, because at a certain point he's not going to be able to actually be in touch with Hashem. He's so upset. It's going to be a block. So if he's having this life, at a certain point you want to at least try to bring him into the fold a little bit.
And bring him in. Meaning if he's depressed, he's just out. He's just out. Forget even tefillin for a second. He's just out. It's interesting, without getting into Kabbalah or anything, the whole inyan of echad mi bachutz. And the next line, there's like a circle, and then there's being literally whatever that circle is. I don't know. But then there's chutz. Chutz is like, it sounds like dangerous or something, like it's chutz. Say the sitra achra is like the other side. He like crossed over a line. And he brings up the sitra achra in the end of the Torah, right? That there's a line that a Jew never goes. Depression. And that's like crossing chutz. He's out. And you don't ever let, if he's chutz, you're chaytfinim. You mashlep the guy in. It's like, I don't want to. Yes, you do. Come on in here. No, yes, no, okay. What do you say like with an alcoholic? Say, no. You hate me. Don't take away my booze. You hate me. I love you. If you loved me, you'd give me the drink. You hate me. He's chutz. You gotta mamish pull him in. Then
Maybe do you think it's also saying that like we can't be happy if he's not with us, like something's missing?
I think so. I think there's I think so.
Like when you're in Torah and you're like dancing, there's the one guy who's a little shy to dance, and it just feels weird because he's just looking. You need him to come.
Every time you make that laugh, he's like,
yeah. He's like by the bar. I'm like, dude, what are you by the bar? Like,
so you're saying staring your simcha. That was one of the tzaddim. One of the tzaddim is that it's staring your simcha. It's not so much about him, is that you feel your simcha is incomplete, and therefore it's like, and there's two of them, or three guys minatzad, it stares you even more. What if three guys dancing and five guys on the side? That's a major stare. Maybe you even need a rove to at least be, and if there's three guys dancing and five guys on the side, it's almost like, you almost question whether you should be dancing in the first place. Maybe if there's a row, maybe there's five guys dancing, four guys on the side, you're like, we're the rove over here, right? We're the rove over here. We're being koiveya, that there's a din dance now. You guys are mamish staring us because it's like it's a mir hamotsui. It's a significant amount. But what if there's a million guys dancing? There's one guy on the side. It's still going to stare him. I'm saying I'm going with your mahalach that it's staring the guys that are dancing. And there's this showdown of the guys. And what's the algorithm of sterkeit on either direction? Because what if there's a rove on the guys that are not dancing? Let's go back to our 3 and 5 we said.
Right.
The five guys are like, you so shouldn't be doing this. And maybe they win. They schlep those three chutz. The anti-kiruv. They pull those three guys also out of the circle. They're like, just join us in our depression.
We get into singing yet?
Oh, that's coming. That's coming. Yeah, Itchy.
I think even if it's one guy, he can get the five guys to dance with him.
And then one Lebedika guy is just...
Because I think that the power of simcha is stronger than the power of, I don't want to say sinna, but like depression. And I think that it's really
It's a power.
I know exactly what that guy needs right now. Meaning, I think that the reaction would be very different if I were to walk into a shul and I see a bunch of people dancing and someone on the side. My approach would be like, why don't you go? Is everything okay? But if you're one of the guys dancing, you don't suddenly stop and you're like, oh, come on. Meaning you're filled with this vitality that you're like, you think I don't have problems in my life? Yeah, I do. It's but this is really helping me. This is showing me, why are we alive? We can still experience simcha even in the chisaron, and bringing them in anyways.
That's mamish beautiful.
And I think
the guy in the circle also says, I got stuff minatzad. I also have my own in me atzus minatzad, but I'm dancing. Right. You're just push it minatzad. You don't even have the simcha with the minatzad. You are the minatzad. You're mamish chutz. You're out. I'm also...
I think you can see himself in the guy.
Beautiful, man.
One of the things that I'm thinking about is, even if it was just one person dancing and five people on the side, that one person can get all five people into the circle. Why? Because all they are doing is starting the simcha. All they're doing is creating a space for joy. When you create a space for joy, you're almost like opening up, in my opinion, opening up a little bit of, I know it says here a little bit of Torah, but in my head it was just like a little bit of community, a little bit of belonging, a little bit of, I was thinking the word dancing, and to me it kind of sounds like das, dancing, das, and so you're unlocking this internal desire, your higher level desire to want to connect with people, to want to be part of something bigger than yourself. And in a lot of ways, I feel dancing can do that. Dancing can unlock that. So when you, as the person who's the first one on the dance floor, to try and connect with other people, start that, you're enabling other people to do the same. And when the second person joins you, the third joins. And when the fourth joins, the fifth joins.
So the power of simcha is this unifying force that starts magnetizing people in. I was thinking about this a lot. This force of magnetism. Does the atzvus also have magnetism for more atzvus? I think so. I think depressed people will attract more depressed people, and they'll just all be depressed, like in their depression together. They'll like hang out and just be depressed. Min atzad, out of it.
That's why they feel the ones in the center that the guy on the side, is kind of pulling them
Exactly.
over. That's why there's a tug of war.
That's right. There's mamish a tug of war. And that's why you feel like when there's a dance and like how many guys actually got up. You know that guy like in the middle of whatever. Miss Moore. And you don't know, like, are we dancing? Are we going? And then one guy's like, he just goes for it. And then he's like looking around like, no one else is like following his lead. He's like, okay, like I don't know if it's gonna pan out the way I was hoping. And he's feeling pulled. I was like, you're about to extend, davening for like another 7 minutes right now. Like I don't know if we're into that. You get what I'm saying? I'm hungry. Kiddush, Ellie?
I've seen such a thing where this exact situation pretty much where it's where people are sitting on the side and you see there's a lot going through their head and they're looking and all around, and when somebody grabs them, what they do is they bring their hands above their head, they go like this, they do dancing like this, and it sort of gets them out of their head a little bit. It's a really interesting thing that I've noticed. The second question or comment I had is a couple of if we have to teach Torah, if we know Torah, do we also, if we have simcha, do we also have to teach simcha? We
have to teach simcha, to pull people in.
I got a question. So this is saying that we always have to be happy, always have joy.
In Chaf Daled. Oh, so we're going to have to see. The question we asked yesterday was, is this Torah teaching me how to get simcha? Or it's just telling you when you have it, what to do with it?
Probably how to, or else what's the point?
Oh, very good. So, Rav Moti told me, he said, whenever you have a Torah like this, even though it's not like directly telling you how to get simcha, it must be, Reb Nachman made this like the Torahs of simcha. He has to also be alluding to how to get it as well. And we're going to have to learn more be'in to get where's Rabbeinu pulling out how to get simcha from this. Okay, so there's a lot of questions now being put on the table here. We're opening up the Torah here. So he finishes the mashal. Also, another thing you notice, the whole thing is like this force, like come on in. There's no dialogue. The guy doesn't go to the side. Like when the guy's, sitting there like this, like, wouldn't you be happier? Like, let's just, like, give me a good svara why you're not in the circle. He's like, I hear your tinus, but, I also have those things. He just pulls the guy in. Rabbi, let's go. The nature is, Rabbi, I get that. I see it's a mitzias. That's the way it goes. It's not like this long vikol, but by the time the circle's already finished. It's, come on in, kimarayin, come into the circle. Machrich emoisoi bal korchoi, shesamech imoim gamken. Ke yesh be'inyan ha-simcha. Oh, kein yesh be'inyan ha-simcha. So too it is in me. And but we said, this is now in me. Okay, the mashal went to the nimshal now. Kain, that word is very important. So too it is inside of you. Now we're in us. We're inside of us. Ki kisha'odam sameach, first level. As amor shchor va'yisurim, nistalkim minatzan. They wait over there on the side. Which means in me there's a level of I'm dancing, in me. And there's this depressed part of me that's like, why are you so happy? Don't you know you got parnasa problems? Don't you know that after the 11th date the girl said no? Don't you know that there's all sorts of problems and other inyonim and stuff going on and your kids and like you weren't acting responsibly with certain responsibilities you had. Come on, why don't you just be depressed? And there's this back and forth, and the guy says no, I'm going to be simcha. We don't, like Daniel said, how do I get that? How do I get it? It's got to be in there. I'm choosing to be b'simcha. Choosing to be b'simcha. It's interesting that the simcha is like a circle of dancing. And you might say that in that, if that's the mashal, the nimshal must be there's something here where I'm like celebrating something. It looks like I'm celebrating something good. Wait a second. I'm a Yid. I put on tefillin today. Just for that. Unbelievable. I went and helped other Jews put on tefillin. I gave tzedakah. I'm going to celebrate Purim. I'm like, I've got a lot to be happy about. That's right. Rav Nosson, the whole Torah goes into, look at all the things. It sounds like Azam l'lekai ba'oidi, Reish Pei Beis. I have so many nekuda tovas. I have so much good inside of me that I could be celebrating. I have so much good in me to celebrate. So much good. Okay, but there's something on the tzad. I haven't brought that in yet. And in me, there's a pull. Aval maili yaseira. What's even greater than that? This ametz lirdoif achar amar shchara davka. To go find my depressive things and pull it into the circle. Now that seems like a tall order, if you ask me. I have to bring the depressive things. Rebbe, I don't know how you do that yet. You just made it. Now the higher level is, I have to be courageous. Be courageous. Lirdoif achar amar shchara davka. Be courageous. Find those things inside of you that are dark and pull them in. Lahachnes loisa gam kein b'toich simcha. Bring it in also to the simcha. Ba'oifen, and now we begin this whole inyan of hipuch v'nahapachu shahamor shchayre be'atzma tishapich l'simcha. How do I do that, Rebbe? That the darkness turns into simcha. I convert it somehow. Again, shi'ahapich. I'm turning it over. All my depressive things, I could turn v'kol ha'yisudin l'simcha. And then Rav mentions the word kederech. This whole inyan of derech is getting me. Kederech. Like there's a way. Kederech habala toich. When you come to a simcha, it's like you bring the whole you there. I'm still, whatever this, what this kederech is. Sha'az, when you get to the simcha, mi goydel simcha. It looks like the Rebbe just said something here. How do you do it? When there's a goydel hasimcha ve'achedva, the Rebbe is saying something now. Mahapich kol adaiges ve'atzvus v'amor shchayris shaloi l'simcha. As soon as this is a new move. Mi goydel hasimcha. When there's very high level of simcha, it looks like something. Rebbe, how do I do it? How do I The Rebbe didn't say how you get simcha. He just now, it seems, is making a move on the second part, which is how do I, the Maili Yisera, how do I turn the darkness into light? How do I do that? Migo de la simcha. That there's a great simcha and chedva. If I can get to goy de la simcha v'chedva, then it seems mahapech. Then it's going to flip over. It's not regular simcha. It's migoy de la simcha. The chedva. In chedva. So Rebbe, what's that? I still didn't fill in the piece, seemingly, what the first nakuda is of simcha. How do I get simcha? Oh, once you have that, if you can be megadol the simcha, it grows, then you could flip the darkness into light. Now, pay attention to something interesting here, and I want to open this up for the oilam. In the beginning, we speak about Mar Shchayra. We speak about things in a singular term, and all of a sudden, the Torah starts making a move. Hamar Shchayris, Lashon Rabim, plural. Nimsa Shechaytev Hamar Shchayra, Umachnes Oisa, back to singular. Bal korcha l'toich hasimcha, k'moshel nirle'el. Watch what's about to happen. Then Reb Nachman brought the pasuk, which he spends a lot of time on. Bezeh bechinas, and all of what we're talking about, these two levels, when you're besimcha, then the depression stays on the side, and the showdown between the two of them. But the Ma'ali Yisera is to run after and schlep the depression into the simcha. And all of this is the bechina, sasan v'simcha yasigu. Sasan and simcha, when the Jews come back to Yerushalayim HaKodesh, that's going to be sasan and simcha, they will acquire. V'nasu, and will run away all of the yogain v'anocha. It sounds like it's like natural. Everyone's going to be so labored coming back to Yerushalayim, so happy we're home after thousands of years of exile. Ganz gewaldig, we're so happy. All of our depression, all of our yogain v'anocha starts leaving naturally.
How do you define depression? Because not everyone's like depressed. Or, like you're like sad or something happened in your life that you're upset.
Right now, what do I know? If you were to learn the Torah, what do I know about depression?
Minatzad.
It's minatzad, and it's chutz. That I know for sure. It's minatzad. It's off to the side. The guy's in bed on his phone. Why didn't you come to Shachos? I was on my, I don't know.
That's definitely depression.
So
Say you just had a bad day. You can't get out the happiness. You see like that one.
are you minatzad? Are you chutz? Are you with the community?
Sometimes you want to be on the side if you have a bad day.
It sounds like one of the, I don't know if the essence, but definitely symptomatic, is that guy will be minatzad.
Or like over here in the
And chutz.
introduction, it says learning of the winter months. Maybe people get more like on the side of the winter because it's cold outside.
And they what do they hibernate. They like hibernate. Like, bro, I haven't seen you in like a couple months, like winter time. And like, don't bears hibernate also? Like, I'll see you in the spring when things start getting nice again. I don't know. I thought Shachris ben Chamara came every day, even in the winter. Like, what happened to you? Like, you just went ghosted. What do they say? Leave you on when somebody doesn't answer you. Leave you on red. That's what it's called. They leave you on red. That's interesting. They leave you like red is din. They leave you mamish like it's like din. Like no. They leave you on red.
Like they read your message, but they didn't respond.
Oh, they leave you on red. Oh.
But I like the...
You see, I'm darshaning up the English words right.
But it still works.
Yeah, it's Shmuel.
I was thinking about it, and I think that like the truer depth of why this analogy is used, or what simcha means, is because I think that the way to get out of the depression is self-care. Meaning it's showing that no matter what I'm going through, whatever thing it is in life, whatever chisaron it is, it's at least I'm looking out for myself, right? And it's a very powerful thing. And
you think the guy's doing the right move by being minatzad? Self-care meaning I go to the side, I got to take care of myself.
I'm saying the right move would be dancing or being happy, right? They're not taking care of themselves. That's why they're in such like a slum. And then instead of just giving them like a present, right? You'd think you'd be helping them, but the second you walk away, they have like whatever you gave them or whatever thing you did, but like you leave. But the idea with the circle and when you're dancing is the initial thing of bringing them in, okay, they don't want to do it. But notice like, okay, 10 seconds after they're in the circle, they're dancing on their own. Meaning you're not making them dance, you're not holding their hand, like you're not making them dance anymore. Now they're being happy on their own in the circle and they're showing like I'm taking care of myself, I'm being happy by myself. It took them to bring me in, but now like
so what's the mahapich? So they needed somebody who's inside to pull them in.
Yeah.
How am I mahapich? Just by them being in migoydel simcha. I mean, if you could just come into a place of simcha. So how's this happening inside of me? If I could pull that part in, and I could arouse higher simcha. Meaning, if I'm happy, then there's going to be depressions on the side. You know, when Shabbos ends and I get all my messages, I come back after the Yishai Rebo concert, and it's like, bro, get out of your stuff. We'll take you away on a vacation somewhere. Just forget about all your troubles. And it's still Menatzah. So we're going to have like the greatest time ever. And then he's like, yeah, but then the vacation's going to end. And
maybe if you force a
if
simcha,
it's goydel simcha, then I flip it. Yeah, Daniel and Yossel.
I was saying that maybe if you force out the simcha, it will overtake your sadness, like it was saying. Like if you try to make yourself happy, maybe it could overtake your depression. Maybe become happy.
Meaning, I'm happy. Remember, in the nimshal, ken yesh be'inyan simcha, when a person's happy, so his own depression like starts going to the side.
Yeah.
So what is now that I bring it in? How do I bring it in and turn that into simcha? And Yossel.
So I was thinking about who's, I guess, arousing the simcha and who? Is it the guys in the circle coming out to the depressed guy to make him happy, or is it the depressed guy actually makes the people in the circle, he arouses their happiness to try to machazik him and try to makarv him? In the sense that usually, like, if you get in the circle, if you get lost in the circle, lost in the sauce, you don't really, like, you're not really present with the simcha, you get lost in it. But when you see that there's a guy outside, you want to, I guess, raise your levels of simcha in order to bring him in. So,
You're saying it's a very interesting take. You're saying the depressed guy is actually pushing the guys to be more besimcha.
yes.
That the depressed guy is like, in a certain way, makarev the simcha to be heightened, to pull them in.
Because they could plateau and they're just getting lost in the circle. Like they
Oh, you're saying we need like a depressed guy to like pump us.
He could help them reach new heights of simcha in the sense that, like, now they have to raise up their levels of simcha to bring this guy in.
That's a mamish, like a fresh take. That's a very nice look at this.
That goes back to the Torah example.
That's beautiful. That goes back
The
to
Torah example, where you have the Chelbena, that's just the low one, and
Oh, the
it
Keteris.
needs the one to lift the whole thing up.
that's very beautiful. He's helping them. So that was his how you saying so he gets converted because it's like b'chol levavcha. A lot of this time I was thinking about the Havdas Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha. Serve Hashem with both your hearts. B'shnei yitzrecha. Serve Hashem with the Yetzirah. So how am I serving Hashem with the Yetzirah? B'chol levavcha. He's like helping to not plateau anymore. It's very beautiful. And that is how he converts. So then go back to the depressed guy. What is he thinking? He's like, does he realize what he's doing? So how is he flipped to simcha? He flips to simcha because once he then realizes that he helped me be more besimcha, he's like, I am a somebody. I did accomplish something. Look what I could do. I want to just bring up one more point for his boinus, and that's this inyan of once we get to the pasuk, and Reb Nachman, we said, takes this pasuk and sees the whole thing in a different light. So he says, "Sasun v'simcha yasigu, v'nosa yogan v'anocha, shehayogan v'anocha, borchem v'nosim min hasimcha." So as soon as a person, Reb Nachman is looking at it, there's sasun and there's simcha. As soon as the guy acquired that, nasu means they start running away. When somebody sees that everyone's happy, he's like, he conveniently just has to like walk out of the room, or he starts running away from the simcha. Ki be'eis ha-simcha, now look at this. Derech. Derech hayogan va'anocha lamoid min hatzad. It looks like depression has a derech. Depression's got a derech. What's the derech of depression? It's like allergic to simcha. And it goes to the tzad. Now, that's interesting. What do you mean? Before the simcha, where is it? If it's not the tzad, where is it? It's the derech of simcha that all of a sudden when simcha starts, it's the derech of yogan v'anocha that it's like, what, there's like boirer? He was inside. I didn't see what was going on here. But it's like, And all of a sudden, when the guy arouses his simcha, there's like a borer. He starts like getting refined off. And now I see two things. So before that, he said, hi, the guy, I don't know, like, are you happy? I don't know, I'm just like, whatever, I'm blah. I'm blah. People said, I'm blah.
Languishing.
And I'm just like, you happy? I'm like, getting by. I'm like, whatever. You happy? I'm not happy. Are you depressed? I'm not, I don't know, whatever. As soon as you arouse some simcha, now there's a birur. Now there's derech, and it's the derech that it's going to go to the side. It's like a derech. But watch this. The Yogad V'Anocha looks like it's unified. It's minatzad. It's minatzad. Avot tzarech lirdoif achareihem. What's achareihem? Who's them? Who's them? Ulasigam, and catch up with them, plural. Ulahagi'am, and to grab them, plural. Lachnis oisam, them. Wait a second. I thought it was like under minatzad. It's like all one, like just depressed, overwhelming mountain of you're no good and all these like million voices. You tell the guy on the side, you want to come into the circle? He's like, I got a lot of good reasons why not. You want me to start listing them for you? I got a lot of reasons. I got a whole settle of reasons. Why I got really good reason to be sad right now. I'll tell you the truth. I can go through them, and they're all like one thing. So Moti said something which was nifla. He said all of a sudden you see something going from singular to plural in the Torah. So he said the nature is when a person's besimcha, all of a sudden, I'm adding this, there's like a birur. There's a derech of the depression that goes to the side, and he's just like, I give you 1,000 good reasons why I shouldn't be besimcha. And there's like this fight between the two of them eyeing each other down. Didn't Trump have that thing with like that box together, like, and then they were just like joking after. It was like that eye look. So there's this, at that point, the depression is like very massive. Monty said as soon as you roidif, you start running after. So if he's just on the side, he's like one powerful energy of depression. And that's not going to be an easy back and forth. But as soon as a guy says, you know what, I want to bring you in, it's no longer singular. It's like they all start splitting up. All the depressed points start pixelating. It's like a guy's got some weed. Yo, the cops are coming. Book it! And they all like spread. Like everyone just like runs. The whole thing scatters. All of a sudden, as soon as you go after, like, let me get you in. He's no longer this like overwhelming one depressed thing. It's like it becomes individuated things. The Parnasa thing, we could deal with that. Oh, like the trouble waking up thing? Okay, we could deal with that. You start to be able to like delineate all the things as individual things, and each one, I could bring that in. Each, if it's one overwhelming depressed situation that's minatzad, that's over, I can't deal with that. It's like this giant mountain of depression. But as soon as I actually go to touch it, it looks like here, I'm talking like this is like clinical psychology. Like, Rabbi, you want me to touch it? Like, you want me to actually touch the Moshe? No, we don't want to, it's overwhelming. If I go to that place, like, it'll pull me down. As soon as you actually run after it, it pixelates. And each one you could touch. And I think, it's coming to me, that this is where my mind was going with this, is that each one, the greatness of the simcha is in the context of my life. I could pull each one in. Each one is no longer overwhelming to me. That's why it goes into lasigam, lirdof achareihem, Lasigam, lagiyam, lachnis oisam, everything is plural. And each one, I could deal with each one. Each one's not so bad. Yeah, Adam.
Coach Radner, I think, said that when you're like juggling balls, instead of juggling all the things at once, like put all of them in the air and like take one at a time and then throw it out, and then it gets easier to do it.
And once, I think there's a big yesod in the Torah, is the moving from the singular to the plural. There's a big inyan here in this Torah.
Why?
Because if a person's depressed and he feels like, I just can't deal with this all, and I've got a million things, and they're all just like, And I think a lot of therapy is like, let's go through it. Now, Reb Nachman's therapy is one by one, and not to be afraid of it, but look at the context of where the therapy is starting. The therapy is starting from a very labedic place. Now, if the therapist is the depressed guy himself, and he's like, let's go through each of those depressed things here. It doesn't look like that's the context you want to be dealing with. The guy's a labedic mensch. He's a very happy person. And he says, you know what? Let's start running. You're going to see they're going to break. They all start running. They're not as formidable anymore. You can start plucking each one, touching each, even touching, lasigam. Yeah, Josh?
And it applies to relationships, like let's say like husband and wife. Let's say if they're not feeling like they're not like something's going on, so they're not feeling that that spark or whatever. Like they're not feeling that that they give so much, I guess, or something. You think that the husband or wife is there and they can do the same?
Saying you have the simcha of one of the sides.
Yeah, the simcha, like let's say the husband or the wife, right? But what the other one isn't feeling that simcha in a relationship, let's say. I think it applies to the same thing in a relationship.
I think so, because the husband and wife are like one unit. They're supposed to be. But if one of them is feeling sad, then it's minat sad. There's a distance, and it would be up to the one who's besimcha to pull them in. And there's a tug of war. It's like, why don't you be depressed like me and minat sad? We'll both be minat. It's interesting. We could both be minat sad together. Could you have such a thing? Just two depressed, like a couple.
Each side.
And I'll be on my side of the house. You'll be on your side, and we'll be depressed together.
Opposite of shalom.
Shalom is when everything is unified. And Daniel?
Question, because it says lirdov, lahasiga, and lahagia, right? Like lahagia, like three steps, right? Like
Yes.
to chase, you have to catch up with it, and then you'll reach it. Seems like a lot.
And lahachnis, and you have to then bring him in, schlep the guy.
And they introduce, right?
There's 4 things. I thought it was like once you start running, so achareyam, they break, and then they see you coming from behind, so they speed up, running away.
Right.
And then you turn on the turbos, lagiam, and then even there's like now you got the guy in your clutches. He's like, I don't want to come in. Come on in.
So, are we talking about like chasing a guy like to come in to dance with us, or like?
In the Moshe, yes.
Seems like maybe what do you think? Do you think we're maybe talking about like the Yetzer Hara or something like that? Like
In the end,
Yetzer Hara.
yes, for sure. The Yetzer Hara's love depression. That's his ikr. The ikr Yetzer Hara's depression. That's like his biggest money.
Yeah.
That's where he makes the most parnasa.
All of it start from the
That's right.
depression.
You get depressed, and it's just like that's the pit. You're just like, I can just go more and more and more and more and more. Minat sad, minat sad, minat sad. You ever notice to be a Jew is the opposite of minat sad? You're so with the community. Mm-hmm. I notice it. You come religious, you're so community based. Mm-hmm. You can't ever have this thing. Like I'm saying, in the olden days, you could tell people, I'm kind of going offline. I mean, like community wise for like a while, And everyone's like, okay, I respect that. That's cool. Like, we'll see when you emerge from your pit. And it could even happen in high-functioning people. Like, I just think I need my time. Like how long is that going to figure stuff out? Like, how long is that going to take? I don't know. I might travel the world, I might go around. What about being part of a community? I don't know, I did minat sad for a while.
Do you think minat sad is the consequence of depression, or maybe even the cause?
It could be that it's like a galgal, like it's a circle. I don't know what the cause is yet. I'm still trying to get to the cause, but it definitely, I think, then adds to it. It adds to it, because the more a person becomes separate. You see, one thing about depression is that there's a separation. It's chutz and it's minat sad. Yeah.
I think it goes the other way too. It's somebody who actively, even if they don't want to be, if they're feeling depressed, they actively involve themselves in the community. Eventually that depression will go away. The cycle. It's like they're actively being involved, so they become happy because of it.
I think so. It's one of the biggest things, just get the guy out of bed. Do something. Let's go to an orphanage. Let's go help somebody out. Let's go have some ice cream together. Just anything. Just come be together with people. Healthy community. Not minatzad community of everyone just being depressed. But healthy, happy people. Why does that have to be merakdin? Why can't you just there's happy people? They're singing and niggin, they're learning Torah. But what do you want with merakdin?
What's merakdin again?
And the guys are dancing. Happy dancing people. Why not just happy people? And the happy dancing people, then the whole avodah begins of simcha and getting minatzad. And I should make sure to hang out with dancing people? Dafka dancing people? Okay, maybe. You didn't like to dance. We're big dancers.
I think it takes a lot for you to get to the dancing state. Like people who are dancing all out, it's like, to dance is kind of like the buildup of simcha. So you just burst and you just start going at it. So that's like the one of the tops of simcha. It's not just like a person sitting there like, I'm happy, I'm just sitting there happy. It's like, no, he's fully happy. He's going all out.
Full simcha. Full simcha expresses through merakdin. Yeah.
Going back to the Yachadim Mashal, when everyone's praying in the minyan, everyone's together, and then when the simcha breaks out, it introduces the depression, like we said before, like, oh, how can you be happy? With all this and that, right? And then so everyone's dancing, and then slowly, that one guy starts to leave, and then the more you start being happy, the more people start to leave because they start thinking of all the things that are bad in them. And then
And
then once you start to go lirdo, it's gotten to a point where the depression is many, it's plural. So like we said before, like it all works into the muscle, like going back out to the circle, and like, it already starts to like gain more attraction.
We got to bring them in. Yosef.
So I was thinking, what I was trying to say earlier, as far as how the depressed guy could arouse more simcha, and to your mashal, as far as like the standoff and the fighters, and or like how someone else brought up like the tug of war. I know like the Alter Rebbe, Balatanya, Rabbi Shneur Zalman Leah has this mashal that the
full name.
Yetzer Hara is supposed to be like a fighter, it's supposed to be like a sparring partner. And a sparring partner is supposed to help you grow stronger and be a better fighter so that you can then overtake it. Like if you were, let's say, a weak guy and a strong sparring partner, you'd always lose, but it inspires you to get stronger and stronger until you start winning. And then, so Yetzer Hara is there not to break us down, but rather to build us up. So too with this guy, like, the further he runs away, like the more it inspires like a ratsoi for us to like run towards it and put on the turbo jets and run as fast as we can.
So how does he though turn into simcha? I understand that he makes the simcha better, but he's like, you're using me to be happier? How does he become a mamish bigger lebedika person?
So like it took, for us to get to Mount Sinai, us being on the 49th level of Tuma, it took, I guess, like, you had taught that like Shabbos Chazan is the holiest time of the year, but like it comes from this time of like the 17th of Tammuz between like the 9th of Av, like this time of, a lot of, we could say like depression or remorse or, mourning in the sense that like we're now in the huts, we're in Golis, and
so there's a converting, it's helping We're gonna have to go deeper into this. We'll just end with this. Look what Reb Nachman does. That the Yogan and the Anocha, they're running away. Avol tzarich lirdoi v'achareim davka, daika la'sigam, la'giam, lahach nesoisam davka l'toich ha-simcha. V'zeu sosen v'simcha yasigu. Sha'sosen v'ha-simcha yasigu, meaning the sosen and simcha are going to go catch the guy. Not that you got sosen and simcha, they're going to go catch the yitpesu and chap on to the yogan and the anocha. Again, shem nasim, v'borchim, all plural, min ha-simcha. Lahachnis oisam, plural, val korchoi l'toich ha-simcha. And then Rav Nachman really ends the piece. The next time I want to go into Chaf Daled and also see it like, this is all just the basic reading of the Torah before we start seeing the whole superstructure. We're beginning to get into this Torah. Rav Nosson said about this Torah, there are so many layers of meaning in this Torah. It's like beyond. The next Torah is also very complex with different 10 fingers and song. And that the pulses and that simcha heals all sickness. A very... So the Rebbe ends, Ki yesh yogan v'anocha shehem asitra achra. That there's a type of groaning and a type of sadness that comes from the Yetzer Hara, from the Sitra Achra.
Which is also minifsad.
Which is definitely, it's Achra, it's from the Tzad Acher, it's from the other side. She'enim roitzim liyos merkava ela kedusha. They don't want to be a merkava to kedusha. Which is interesting. So it must be that there is a yogon and an anocha that could be a merkava to kedusha. These are the ones. There are ones that don't want to be a merkava. What's a merkava mean? Merkava means I'm serving something else. And that's a merkava.
A vehicle, right?
A vehicle to serve the driver. A vehicle is always bottle. It's bottle. It's nullified his will to do something greater. So you see something here also about the Yogan, the Anocha, and the Yatzvus, and the Yisum. They don't want to be bottle. They don't want to help somebody else. They want to just be themselves. The depression is like a tremendous level of gaiva, of like just self-absorption. And really we're saying, no, Rabbi Yid, your Yogan V'Anocha can actually serve something else. I can't, no. I just want to be in this. And here Rabbi Nachman's saying, wait a second. We want to turn that into a merkava. Merkava means I'm serving something else. I'm serving a higher thing. I'm going to service something else. Because they don't want to serve the simcha. So they start fleeing. All of a sudden now I have kedusha. I want to bring this into the kedusha. I want to pull them in, like we said above. So what do we see today, my dear friends? We started to go into different layers now in the Torah of things going from singular to plural. That the minat sad, the depression, which is like this one goosh, this one powerful, all of a sudden when you go after it, it pixelates, and you're able to then touch every one of them and bring them in. I feel like I'm just opening up this Torah right now, like just touching it. We should mamish be zoicha. We should be zoicha mamish. To understand the avoid of this Torah, that this is all happening inside of you and I, that there's a level before simcha, where we said there's like something that maybe is together. All of a sudden there's simcha, there's a natural minat sad. It's like, it starts running away. And that's already the first level. And that's a good thing. I'm besimcha. How we get there, I'm not sure yet. I think a little bit is celebrating all the good. I think a little bit is also just being with community. Because the opposite of that is minatzad. So there must be already the essence of simcha is togetherness in good things. But then the Ma'ale Yesera is I run after that thing, and I pull him in. And as soon as I run after, we said they start sprinting away, but I bring them all into the simcha. And something about me, goydel simcha, as the simcha increases, and chedva, then I'm converting. Something that I want to go into next time a little bit, maybe we'll begin with this. What's the difference between sasan and simcha? What's sasan, what's simcha, and what's yoga and what's vanocha? What are the differences here? Why did the prophet Isaiah teach us about? The Jews are going to come back and there's going to be sasan and simcha. What's the chiluk? Sasan and simcha. Not just like happiness. You know, people who live in snowy environments have like 10 different names for snow. There's like packing snow, and then there's soft snow, there's wet snow, there's icy snow, slushy snow. There's
Because they all do different things.
Exactly. We have snow. You know, we have to add other words. For them, it's a different tziyah. So what he's saying, it's not a different thing. You think slushy snow and fluffy snow is the same? It's not even the same thing. A nation and a culture will have different names for things based on how much it's like part of their culture. Exactly. It's not shaykh.
And the same
Snowman.
joy.
So too the Jewish people, we have 10 different names for happiness. 10. 10 different names, and each one is different. It's a different nakuda. So here we see two of them coming up, sasan and simcha. Think about what the differences are, my dear friends. We should be zeicha mamish. To have sasan v'simcha yasigu, v'nosa yogan v'anocha. We're going to see tremendous returning of the exiles. Bezrat Hashem. The bin beis hamikdash b'mehera v'ymeinu. Amen. Oyahu Ashreinu v'tov regeinu u'manayim go'alei. Oyahu Ashreinu v'tov regeinu u'manayim go'alei. Yeah.